My beloved child, before you continue listening, I need you to understand something deeply within your spirit right now. You did not arrive here by accident. This moment was not random. These words were not placed before your eyes by coincidence, nor were you simply searching for another message to pass the time. No, my child, there is a reason your spirit felt drawn here. There is a reason your heart became restless enough to stop and listen. And there is a reason you feel something stirring within you even now as these words begin to unfold. Do not ignore that feeling. Stay with me, because what I am about to reveal will explain things you have been carrying in silence for far too long. My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. Colossians 10:27. Yes, my child, I know you. I know the hidden battles you never explain to anyone else. I know how tired your mind has become from carrying thoughts you cannot silence. I know how often you smile in front of others while secretly feeling disconnected inside. I know the nights you stared into darkness wondering if your life would ever truly change. And I know there were moments recently when you almost gave up hope completely. But listen carefully now. Do not scroll away. Do not allow distraction to steal this moment from you, because the enemy wanted your attention everywhere except here. It tried to fill your mind with noise, fear, exhaustion, and confusion, so you would miss this message entirely. It knew that if you truly heard my voice today, something inside you would begin to awaken again. And that awakening has already started. You may not fully understand it yet, but your spirit recognizes my presence. That uneasy feeling you have carried lately, that strange emotional heaviness, that sense that something is changing even though you cannot explain it. None of it is accidental. Something has been shifting quietly within you. For a long time, you have been trying to survive situations that drained your peace. You kept telling yourself to stay strong. You kept pushing forward even when your soul felt exhausted. You kept giving your energy to people who did not understand your heart. And little by little, without realizing it, you started feeling emotionally distant from everything around you, even from yourself. But I was there through all of it. I saw every tear you wiped away quickly so nobody would ask questions. I saw the moments you sat in silence because you were too emotionally tired to explain what was hurting you. I heard the prayers you whispered when nobody else was around. And my child, I never ignored a single one. Even when heaven felt silent to you, I was still moving in ways you could not see. Even when you thought nothing was changing, I was preparing something beneath the surface of your life. You must understand this now. The waiting season did not mean abandonment. The silence did not mean absence. And your pain was never meaningless. Listen closely. There is a reason your spirit has felt different lately. A reason you suddenly feel disconnected from certain people. A reason old habits no longer satisfy you the way they once did. A reason your heart has been craving peace more than attention. A reason you have started questioning the direction of your life. Because I have been calling you closer to me. Yes, my beloved, that emptiness you felt was not meant to destroy you. It was meant to wake you up. For too long, you searched for rest in places that could never heal your spirit completely. You tried to carry burdens alone. You tried to silence your pain by distracting yourself. You tried to convince yourself that everything was fine, even while your inner world quietly struggled beneath the surface. But I never stopped reaching for you, even when you wandered emotionally, even when fear clouded your thoughts. Even when disappointment hardened parts of your heart, I remained beside you. And now you are entering a moment that will begin changing everything. Do you feel it? That quiet pull inside your chest? That deep sense that something important is happening right now? That is not your imagination. That is my presence touching the places inside you that have been wounded for far too long. My child, hear me carefully. You have spent too much time believing you were forgotten. Too much time blaming yourself for delays you did not understand. Too much time carrying guilt over things I already wanted to heal. You keep looking backward, replaying moments you wish had gone differently. You revisit conversations. You replay mistakes. You wonder if your life would feel different if only you had chosen another path. But listen to me now. The past no longer has permission to define you. The fear that followed you for years does not control your future anymore. The disappointment that weakened your confidence will not have the final word over your life. Because I am doing something new within you already, even now, while you listen. And this is why the enemy fought so hard to distract you recently. It saw your breakthrough approaching before you did. It noticed your spirit beginning to wake up again. It knew I was preparing to restore parts of you that had nearly collapsed under emotional exhaustion. So it sent confusion, distraction, isolation, overthinking, fear. But none of it has the authority to stop what I have already begun. Stay with me now, because the next part is important. There were moments recently when you felt completely alone, even in crowded rooms. Moments when nobody truly understood what was happening inside you. You wanted comfort, yet pushed people away at the same time, because your heart no longer knew who to trust. Yes, I saw all of it. I saw how deeply betrayal affected you. I saw how rejection quietly changed the way you view yourself. I saw how disappointment made you question whether hope was even worth holding on to anymore. But my child, you are not broken beyond repair. You are not too far gone, and you are not abandoned. You are being prepared. There is a difference. The season you thought was destroying you was actually separating you from what could no longer go where I am taking you next. Soon you will understand why certain people disappeared. Soon you will understand why some doors closed unexpectedly. Soon you will understand why your spirit became restless in places that once felt comfortable. Because I was protecting your future even while you misunderstood the process. And now a new chapter is beginning quietly beneath the surface. Do not rush away from this moment. Let these words settle deeply into your spirit, because something inside you needs to hear this today. You are still chosen, still loved, still seen, still guided, still protected. And even after everything you have survived, you are still standing. That alone is proof that my hand has remained upon your life. The darkness did not consume you. The pain did not destroy you. The fear did not finish you. You survived because I carried you through moments you thought would break you completely. And now, my beloved child, I need you to prepare your heart carefully, because what comes next in your life will require a stronger version of you. A healed version, a surrendered version, a version no longer chained to fear, regret, and emotional exhaustion. That transformation begins here, right now, with this message, with this moment, with your decision to stop running from the healing I have been trying to bring into your life for so long. So breathe deeply now. Release the pressure you have been carrying. Let your spirit become still before me. You do not need to have every answer tonight. You do not need to understand every detail yet. You only need to stay close enough to hear my voice again. And if these words are reaching your heart right now, my child, it is because I have not given up on you, not even once. This message found you because I intended for it to find you, and this is only the beginning. My beloved child, now that you have quieted your spirit enough to remain here with me, I need you to understand the deeper reason behind the heaviness you have been carrying. Because the exhaustion you feel is not only physical. It is deeper than tiredness, deeper than stress, deeper than lack of sleep. It is the weariness of a soul that has been carrying too much for too long. Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Matthew 11:28. Yes, I saw how hard you tried to keep going. I saw you forcing yourself to smile when your inner world felt empty. I saw you trying to stay strong for others while silently collapsing inside. I saw you waking up already exhausted before the day even began. And I know there were moments recently when you could not even explain why you felt so emotionally drained. That confused you, because from the outside, Everything may have appeared normal. People around you continued living as if nothing had changed. But inside your spirit, something felt different, something felt heavy, something felt unsettled. And my child, that feeling was real. You were not imagining it. You were carrying emotional weight that was never meant to stay on your shoulders this long. For months, maybe even years, you have been absorbing disappointment after disappointment without giving yourself time to heal properly. You kept surviving, kept adapting, kept enduring, but deep within you, unresolved pain slowly accumulated in silence. Pain from prayers that seemed unanswered. Pain from betrayal you never fully recovered from. Pain from being misunderstood. Pain from always giving more love than you received back. And eventually, your spirit became tired, not weak, not broken, tired. There is a difference. Listen carefully now. The enemy wanted you to interpret your exhaustion as failure. It wanted you to believe something was wrong with you. It whispered thoughts like, "You're losing yourself. You'll never feel joy again. You're too damaged now. You'll always feel this empty." But those thoughts were never from me, because I do not speak hopelessness over my children. I speak restoration. I speak healing. I speak life into weary spirits. And I am speaking that over you right now. My child, there is a reason you suddenly began pulling away from things that once distracted you. A reason loud environments started overwhelming you. A reason meaningless conversations began exhausting your energy. A reason your soul started craving silence more than noise. It is because your spirit has been crying out for renewal. You have spent too much time emotionally available to everyone else while neglecting the condition of your own heart. Too much time carrying responsibilities that drained you internally. Too much time pretending you were okay because you feared nobody would understand the depth of what you were feeling. But I understood. I always understood. Even the emotions you struggled to explain with words, I understood completely. I knew when anxiety quietly kept you awake at night. I knew when loneliness followed you even around other people. I knew when your confidence started fading because disappointment happened too many times in a row. And still, I stayed beside you, even during the moments when you emotionally shut down. Even when your prayers became shorter, even when your faith became quieter. I did not leave you. Stay with me now, because this next part matters deeply. The exhaustion you feel is not proof that you are falling apart. It is proof that your spirit can no longer survive disconnected from true peace. For too long, you have tried to carry emotional burdens through human strength alone. You tried to think your way out of pain. You tried to stay distracted enough not to feel everything beneath the surface. You tried to convince yourself that eventually the heaviness would disappear on its own. But ignored pain does not disappear, my beloved. It waits in silence. And eventually, it begins speaking through exhaustion, through anxiety, through emotional numbness, through feeling disconnected from life itself. That is why your soul has been crying out for rest, not temporary distraction, not shallow comfort, real rest, the kind only my presence can give. My precious child, you have become so used to surviving that you forgot what peace feels like. You became accustomed to carrying emotional tension every day. You became accustomed to overthinking every situation. You became accustomed to expecting disappointment before hope. And little by little, survival mode became your normal state. But I did not create you merely to survive. I created you to live with peace inside your spirit. I created you to feel loved without constantly fearing loss. I created you to walk through life knowing you are held safely in my hands. That is why I am slowing certain things down around you now. Yes, even the delays have purpose, because if I allowed you to continue running at the same exhausted pace, your spirit would eventually collapse beneath the pressure. So I permitted stillness. I permitted uncomfortable silence. I permitted separation from certain people and situations. Not to punish you, but to protect you, to bring you back to the condition your soul truly needs. There are moments when isolation is not rejection, it is restoration. And this is one of those moments in your life. You have been entering a season where I am teaching your spirit how to breathe again, how to feel again, how to trust again. That process feels uncomfortable sometimes because healing often begins where denial ends. You cannot heal wounds you continue pretending do not exist. And lately, your hidden wounds have been surfacing. Memories, regrets, old fears, past betrayals, suddenly returning to your thoughts without warning. That frightened you, but listen carefully. Those things are not resurfacing to destroy you. They are surfacing because I am preparing to heal what you buried. You have carried emotional pain quietly for so long that part of you started believing this heaviness would last forever. But it will not. I need you to hear me clearly now. This exhaustion is not your final season. This confusion is not your identity. This emotional weight is not your permanent reality. Restoration is already beginning, even now, while you listen. Even now, while tears form in your eyes. Even now, while your heart struggles between hope and fear. I am already working within you. My child, do not condemn yourself for feeling tired. Do not shame yourself because you needed rest. Even strong souls become weary after carrying invisible battles too long. Even faithful hearts sometimes grow exhausted from disappointment. Even those who love deeply can become emotionally overwhelmed. That does not make you weak, it makes you human. And I am not angry with your exhaustion. I am calling you out of it gently. One step at a time, one moment of healing at a time, one breath of peace at a time. Soon, you will begin noticing small changes happening within you. The heaviness will not control you the same way anymore. Your thoughts will slowly become quieter. Your spirit will begin feeling lighter again. Hope will return gradually. And the peace you thought you lost forever will begin finding its way back into your life. But first, you must stop fighting this healing process. Stop forcing yourself to carry everything alone. Stop pretending you are not hurting when your soul is clearly exhausted. Bring your weariness to me. Bring your fears to me. Bring your overthinking to me. Bring your sadness to me. You do not have to clean yourself up before coming closer to me. You only need to stop running from the rest your spirit desperately needs. Because I have not forgotten you, my beloved child. And the reason this message found you today is because your soul has been crying out for relief longer than your mind realized. I heard every silent cry, every sleepless night, every hidden ache, and now I am drawing you into a season where exhaustion will no longer define your life. But stay close, because what you are feeling right now is only the beginning of the transformation I am preparing within you. My beloved child, this next part matters deeply, because what I am about to reveal will explain why so many things suddenly became heavier around you the moment you started trying to move forward again. For a long time, you blamed yourself. You thought your delays were failures. You thought the closed doors meant you were unworthy. You thought the confusion in your mind meant you were losing direction. But listen carefully now. What you thought was bad luck was actually resistance. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world. Ephesians 6:12. Yes, my child, there has been a silent spiritual conflict happening around your life. One you could feel, even if you could not explain it. That strange heaviness, that sudden wave of fear for no reason. That exhaustion that appeared the moment you tried to heal. That anxiety that attacked your mind late at night. That pressure making you question your worth. It was not random, and it was not because I abandoned you. It happened because something inside you has started changing. And darkness always reacts when light begins awakening inside a soul. Stay with me carefully now, because once you understand this truth, many things from your past season will suddenly make sense. Have you noticed how every time you tried to grow, something immediately tried to discourage you? Every time you attempted to find peace, confusion suddenly appeared. Every time you prepared to move forward, fear whispered, "What if nothing changes? What if you fail again? What if you are only disappointing yourself?" My beloved, those thoughts intensified because your breakthrough drew closer than ever before. The opposition increased because the enemy recognized something you had not yet recognized yourself. You were beginning to wake up. You were beginning to heal. You were beginning to detach emotionally from the pain that once controlled you. And the moment that process began, resistance increased around your life. Not because you were cursed, not because I forgot you, but because the chains holding your spirit were beginning to weaken. Listen closely now. The enemy is not frightened by a soul that remains asleep in hopelessness. It is frightened by a soul beginning to remember its value again. That is why the attacks became stronger recently. That is why your mind suddenly became overwhelmed with overthinking. That is why discouragement appeared without warning. That is why people unexpectedly misunderstood you. That is why emotional pressure increased when you tried to rest. Because something powerful is approaching your life, and the enemy always fights hardest before losing access to someone completely. You thought you were falling apart, but in reality, you were breaking free. Do you understand now, my child? The warfare increased because your healing became real. There are moments in life when spiritual conflict does not appear as obvious destruction. Sometimes it appears quietly, through distraction, through emotional exhaustion, through hopeless thoughts repeated over and over until they sound like your own voice, through constant delays that slowly weaken confidence, through fear convincing you to stop trying altogether. The enemy rarely begins with chaos. It begins with discouragement. Because if it can convince a soul to surrender hope voluntarily, it no longer needs to attack openly. And for a while, you almost gave up. Yes, I saw it. I saw the nights when disappointment sat heavily upon your chest. I saw you wondering why life suddenly felt harder when you were sincerely trying to become stronger. I saw the confusion that entered your thoughts when things stopped making sense. But my child, none of those moments escaped my sight, not one. Even while the conflict intensified around you, I remained beside you, protecting parts of your life you never even realized were under attack. There were dangers you never saw, doors I prevented from opening, situations I blocked quietly, people I removed before they could damage your future further. And though you interpreted some of those losses as punishment, they were often protection. This next part is important. You have been asking why certain relationships suddenly changed, why people grew distant unexpectedly, why environments that once felt comfortable suddenly felt draining, why your spirit became restless in places where you used to feel secure. The answer is deeper than you realize. Your spirit began recognizing what your emotions were still trying to hold on to. Not everyone connected to your past can follow you into your future. And when breakthrough season approaches, hidden conflict often reveals itself through separation. That separation hurt you deeply because your heart wanted peace. Your heart wanted stability. Your heart wanted reassurance. But sometimes I must expose what was quietly draining your spirit before I can fully restore your peace. You called it rejection, but often it was rescue. You called it abandonment, but often it was redirection. You called it bad timing, but often it was divine protection unfolding silently around you. My beloved child, hear me clearly now. The resistance surrounding your life is not proof you are losing. It is proof that movement has begun. The enemy does not waste energy attacking someone who has already surrendered. The strongest battles happen near the edge of transformation. That is why you feel tension right now. Part of your spirit senses change approaching, but another part of you still fears disappointment because of everything you survived before. That inner conflict has exhausted you emotionally. One side of you wants hope again. The other side fears being hurt again. One side wants to trust me completely. The other side remembers every unanswered prayer. And quietly, you have been standing between fear and faith. But I am leading you out of that place now. Not through pressure, not through shame, but through truth. And the truth is this: you survived battles that should have destroyed your peace completely. Yet somehow, you are still here listening, still breathing, still searching for hope, still reaching toward my voice even after everything tried convincing you to stop believing. That is not weakness, my child. That is evidence of my hand upon your life. Because even during the darkest moments, I never released you. Even when confusion clouded your thoughts, I stayed close. Even when spiritual pressure surrounded your life, I continued fighting battles for you that you could not fight alone. You were never abandoned in the war surrounding you. Never. And now something important is beginning to happen. The very pressure meant to break your spirit is becoming the force pushing you closer to me. The fear that once controlled you is beginning to lose its grip. The hopelessness that once silenced you is weakening. The lies telling you that nothing would ever change are starting to collapse. Slowly, quietly, but truly. Because my light is entering places within you that darkness once occupied freely. And darkness cannot remain where healing begins. My precious child, do not panic because the battle intensified. Do not assume the pressure means defeat. Many people turn back during this stage because they misunderstand what resistance means. But I am revealing the truth to you now. The battle became stronger because your breakthrough became real. You are closer than you realize. Closer to healing, closer to clarity, closer to emotional freedom, closer to the peace your spirit has desperately needed for so long. So do not stop now. Do not retreat back into hopelessness. Do not let fear convince you that nothing is changing. Because even now, while you listen to these words, chains are weakening around your spirit. The heaviness will not stay forever. The confusion will not control you forever. The warfare surrounding your mind will not last forever. A shift has already begun. And soon, you will start seeing undeniable signs that I have been moving behind the scenes this entire time. But stay close to me now, my beloved, because the next part will reveal the hidden thing you must finally release before your breakthrough fully arrives. And once you understand it, everything will begin changing faster than you expect. My beloved child, listen carefully to me now, because what I am about to reveal may be difficult for your heart to accept at first. But this truth is necessary for your healing. You have spent so much time believing the greatest battle around your life came from external opposition. You thought the delays were only caused by people. You thought the heaviness came only from spiritual attacks. You thought your breakthrough was being blocked only by forces outside of you. But my child, this next revelation matters deeply. The greatest blockage standing between you and your healing is not outside of you anymore. It is the pain you still carry within. Forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. Isaiah 43:18. Yes, I know why you held on to it. I know why your heart struggled to let go. Because the wounds were real. The betrayal was real. The disappointment was real. The rejection was real. And the memories attached to those moments still echo quietly inside your spirit even now. You replay conversations in your mind. You revisit painful moments when nobody is around. You remember the people who hurt you while pretending to love you. You remember the doors that closed unexpectedly. You remember the prayers that seemed unanswered. And although time has passed, parts of your heart are still emotionally living there. Stay with me now, because this is where healing truly begins. For a long time, you believed survival meant learning how to carry pain silently. So you buried it. You hid it beneath distractions. You pushed it beneath responsibilities. You convinced yourself you had moved on. But hidden pain does not disappear simply because it is ignored. It waits quietly beneath the surface, and eventually, it begins shaping the way you think, the way you trust, and the way you see yourself. My beloved child, some of the exhaustion you feel is not coming from your current season. It is coming from old wounds you never fully released. That bitterness, that regret, that anger, that guilt, that quiet resentment toward people who deeply hurt you. You have been carrying it for far too long. And although you tried to move forward, those hidden emotions continued pulling your spirit backward internally. This next part matters deeply. You keep asking me why peace feels close one moment and distant the next. Why hope rises inside you, then suddenly collapses again. Why your spirit wants healing, yet your thoughts keep returning to old pain. The answer is because part of your heart is still chained to what wounded you, and you cannot fully embrace a new season while emotionally living inside the old one. My child, hear me carefully now. Forgiveness is not pretending the pain never happened. Forgiveness is releasing your spirit from the prison of constantly reliving it. You thought holding on to resentment protected you from future pain, but slowly, it became the very thing draining your peace. Because bitterness exhausts the soul quietly. It keeps wounds alive long after the moment has passed. It reopens pain every time the memory returns, and the enemy knows this. That is why it constantly reminds you of old disappointments. Not because the past still has power over your future, but because it hopes your focus will remain trapped there. The enemy understands something dangerous about unresolved pain. A wounded heart struggles to fully receive peace. That is why certain memories suddenly return late at night. That is why your mind replays painful conversations repeatedly. That is why regret sometimes overwhelms you unexpectedly. The enemy wants your emotional energy trapped in yesterday, so you never fully step into tomorrow. But I am calling you out of that prison now, not through force, through healing. My precious child, I know there are things you still blame yourself for. Mistakes you replay over and over. Moments you wish you could undo. Words you wish you never spoke. Decisions you wish had gone differently. And quietly, without realizing it, guilt became part of your identity. You began speaking to yourself through shame. You began expecting disappointment. You began believing you ruined too much to deserve peace again. But listen carefully now. I never asked you to carry lifelong punishment for healed mistakes. You are the one still holding chains I already wanted to remove. Yes, accountability matters, growth matters, healing matters, but endless self-condemnation was never my desire for your life. You cannot heal while constantly attacking yourself internally. You cannot step into restoration while emotionally repeating, I should have known better. I ruined everything. I'll never recover from this. Those thoughts are not healing you, my child. They are imprisoning you. And today I am asking you to finally release them. Release the guilt. Release the bitterness. Release the hatred. Release the regret. Release the emotional attachment to what already ended. Because your future cannot fully bloom while your spirit remains buried in dead seasons. This next part is important. Some people hurt you deeply. And yes, what they did changed you. But my beloved child, you must stop allowing those wounds to define your identity. You became guarded because of betrayal, fearful because of disappointment, emotionally distant because of rejection. But that is not who you truly are. That is who pain temporarily trained you to become. And now I am healing you beyond survival mode, beyond fear, beyond emotional numbness, beyond constant self-protection. You do not have to keep living like every new person will hurt you. You do not have to keep expecting abandonment everywhere you go. You do not have to keep punishing yourself for old versions of who you used to be. A new season cannot enter a heart still consumed by yesterday's sorrow. That is why I am exposing these hidden wounds now, not to shame you, to free you. My beloved, this is the moment many people turn away from healing because releasing pain feels frightening. Pain becomes familiar. Bitterness becomes comfortable. Regret becomes part of identity. And even though those things hurt you, part of you became afraid to let them go because they have lived inside you for so long. But listen carefully. The pain cannot go where I am taking you next. The resentment cannot survive in the peace I am preparing for you. The guilt cannot enter the future I already began building around your life. So now you face a choice. Will you continue carrying the weight that exhausted your spirit for years? Or will you finally place it into my hands? Because healing requires surrender, not partial surrender. Complete surrender, and yes, that process feels vulnerable. It feels uncomfortable. It feels emotional, because buried wounds surface before they fully heal. That is why certain emotions have intensified lately. That is why tears come unexpectedly sometimes. That is why memories suddenly return without warning. Healing is uncovering what pain tried to hide. And my child, I am walking beside you through every part of this process. You are not alone inside this emotional battle, not for one moment. If this message is speaking directly to your heart right now, pause for a moment and type, "I release the past" in the comments. Not because words alone create healing, but because your spirit needs to stop making agreements with old pain. This is your moment to choose freedom over emotional imprisonment. And my beloved child, once you release what has been poisoning your peace internally, you will finally understand why the breakthrough waiting ahead of you feels so close now. Because what comes next in your life cannot grow inside a wounded heart still chained to yesterday. But stay with me carefully, because the next part will reveal the people and connections that quietly drained your spirit while you were trying to heal. My beloved child, there is something painful your heart has been trying to understand for a very long time. Why did certain people suddenly change toward you? Why did some relationships leave you feeling emotionally exhausted instead of loved? Why did the people you trusted most sometimes become the source of your deepest pain? And why, after giving so much of yourself, did you still end up feeling alone? This next part matters deeply, because many of the wounds you carry were not created by strangers. They came from people you opened your heart to, people you prayed for, people you defended, people you stayed loyal to even when they hurt you repeatedly. And my child, I saw every moment of it. I saw how hard you tried to keep relationships together. I saw how often you sacrificed your own peace just to avoid conflict. I saw how you kept forgiving while silently breaking inside. I saw how you ignored warning signs because your heart wanted to believe people would change. But slowly, those relationships began draining your spirit. Not every connection around you was sent to strengthen your life. Some connections only attached themselves to your kindness while slowly consuming your peace. Do not be unequally yoked, 2 Corinthians 6:14. Yes, my beloved, not everyone walking beside you was capable of going where I am leading you next. Some people loved the version of you that stayed small. Some people felt comfortable only when you doubted yourself. Some people benefited from your exhaustion because it made you easier to control emotionally. And without realizing it, you became spiritually tied to environments that weakened your soul little by little. Stay with me now, because soon you will understand why certain doors closed. For a long time, you interpreted separation as rejection. When people walked away, you blamed yourself. When communication changed, you questioned your worth. When relationships became distant, you wondered what you did wrong. But my child, many of those separations were not punishment, they were protection. Yes, protection, because I saw what you could not fully see yet. I saw how some people constantly drained your emotional energy. I saw how certain conversations left your spirit heavy every single time. I saw how some individuals only appeared when they needed something from you, but disappeared when you needed support yourself. I saw how often you carried the emotional weight of everyone else, while nobody truly carried yours. And my child, your soul became tired from constantly pouring into places that never poured back into you. This next part is important. You kept trying to save relationships I was trying to remove from your life. You prayed for clarity while ignoring the exhaustion those connections created inside your spirit. You asked me for peace while continuing to hold on to people who repeatedly disturbed your peace. And because your heart is compassionate, you kept giving second chances long after your spirit began warning you something was wrong. But now your eyes are beginning to open. That discomfort you started feeling around certain people, that emotional heaviness after certain conversations, that growing distance inside your spirit, it was not cruelty. It was discernment awakening within you. Your spirit began recognizing what your heart was afraid to admit. Not every relationship was healthy for your future. Some people were assignments, some were lessons, some were temporary seasons, and some needed access to your life removed completely before healing could truly begin. My beloved child, hear me carefully now. You are not responsible for carrying relationships that continuously destroy your peace. You are not obligated to stay emotionally attached to those who repeatedly wound your spirit. You are not selfish for needing distance from environments that constantly leave you emotionally drained. For too long, you confused loyalty with self-destruction. You believed love meant enduring endless pain silently. You believed protecting others mattered more than protecting your own spirit. But I never asked you to sacrifice your emotional well-being to keep unhealthy connections alive. There is a difference between loving people and allowing them unlimited access to wound your soul. And now I am teaching you that difference. That is why certain separations happened suddenly. That is why some conversations ended unexpectedly. That is why some people grew distant without explanation. Because I was removing what your heart would have continued tolerating out of emotional attachment. You cried over doors I closed for your protection. You mourned relationships that would have eventually broken your spirit completely if they remained. And yes, some endings hurt deeply because your intentions were genuine. Your love was genuine. Your loyalty was genuine. But sincerity alone cannot sustain relationships that continuously damage your peace. Stay with me carefully now, because this hidden truth explains much of the emotional confusion you experienced recently. Part of your exhaustion came from trying to remain connected to people who no longer aligned with the healing I was bringing into your life. As your spirit began changing, certain relationships became uncomfortable. As your discernment grew, certain conversations became draining. As your soul started craving peace, certain environments suddenly felt unbearable. And that confused you at first. You wondered, why do I suddenly feel different around them? Why does my spirit feel heavy after every interaction? Why do I feel emotionally unsafe even around familiar people? My child, your spirit was awakening before your mind fully understood what was happening. Not everyone around you was healthy for your next season. And when breakthrough approaches, separation often happens before elevation. The enemy wanted you to interpret every separation as abandonment. But many separations were rescue missions in disguise, because the people draining your spirit could not continue walking with you into the future I prepared for you. This next part matters deeply. Some people were attached to your wounds, not your healing. As long as you stayed broken, insecure, exhausted, and emotionally dependent, they felt comfortable. But once your spirit began healing, once your confidence slowly returned, once your peace became more important than pleasing everyone else, the connection started shifting, because healed people become difficult to manipulate. And the moment you started emotionally waking up, certain relationships naturally began falling apart. Not because you became cruel, but because your spirit could no longer survive inside environments that constantly suffocated your peace. My beloved child, stop blaming yourself for every relationship that ended. Some endings were necessary. Some separations saved you from deeper heartbreak later. Some closed doors prevented future destruction you never saw coming. And someday, You will thank me for removing what your emotions beg to keep. If this message is speaking directly to your spirit, comment Amen below and stay until the end, because the final revelation explains the strange shift happening in your life right now. Yes, my child, there is still more you need to understand, because not every person who left was an enemy. Some simply could not follow you into the season I am bringing you into now. Growth changes relationships, healing changes relationships, peace changes relationships, and sometimes the people connected to your old identity cannot recognize the person you are becoming. That loss feels painful, but it is not always rejection. Sometimes it is transition, sometimes it is preparation. Sometimes it is my hand separating you from environments that no longer match your future. And though your heart mourned those endings, your spirit quietly became lighter afterward. You noticed it eventually. The silence felt painful at first, but peaceful later. The distance hurt initially, but slowly brought clarity. The separation felt confusing, but over time, your spirit started breathing again. That was not accidental, my beloved. That was restoration beginning. Because I am teaching you something important now. Protecting your peace is not selfish when your healing depends on it. And soon, very soon, you will fully understand why I removed certain people before the breakthrough I am about to bring into your life. But stay close to me now, because the next part will reveal why your painful waiting season was never wasted, even when it felt like nothing was changing at all. My beloved child, I know there were moments when you truly believed nothing in your life was moving forward. Moments when the waiting became so long that hope itself started feeling exhausting. You prayed, you trusted, you held on. And yet, day after day, it seemed as though heaven remained silent while your life stood still. You watched others move ahead while you stayed in the same painful place. You saw doors opening for other people while your own path remained unclear. And quietly, deep inside your heart, a painful question began forming. Why is everything taking so long for me? This next part matters deeply, because the answer will change how you see your entire journey. And we know that all things work together for good to them that love God. Romans 8:28. Yes, my child, even the years you cried through, even the delays that confused you, even the painful waiting seasons that seemed meaningless, none of it was wasted. You are about to see why the delay happened. Stay close now, because what felt like punishment was often preparation happening invisibly beneath the surface of your life. You believed I was delaying your blessing, but in truth, I was strengthening the person who would eventually carry it. There are blessings your old version could not sustain. There are doors your wounded spirit would have mishandled. There are opportunities that would have destroyed you emotionally if they arrived before your healing began. And because I love you deeply, I refused to release certain things before your spirit became strong enough to survive them. My beloved child, you measure time through pain, but I measure time through purpose. You saw wasted years. I saw hidden growth. You saw silence. I saw internal transformation. You saw loneliness. I saw separation from distractions that would have buried your destiny completely. Nothing about your suffering was random. Nothing about your waiting season lacked meaning. Even now, there are strengths within you that only exist because you survived what once tried to break you. Think about who you were before the pain, before the betrayal, before the disappointment, before the loneliness changed you. You were kind then, but fragile. Hopeful then, but easily shaken. Trusting then, but unprepared for spiritual battle. But now look at the soul you have become. You carry wisdom you did not have before, discernment you did not have before, compassion you did not have before, strength you did not know existed inside you. And although the process hurt deeply, your hardest years quietly built the endurance required for the blessing coming next. This next part is important. The enemy wanted you to interpret delay as denial. It wanted you to believe nothing good is coming. You've been forgotten. You missed your chance. But the truth is much deeper than that. Some things were delayed because your spirit needed restoration first. Some doors remained closed because toxic people still surrounded you. Some prayers seemed unanswered because your heart still carried wounds that would have sabotaged the blessing once it arrived. You asked me for peace, while still emotionally attached to chaos. You asked me for new beginnings, while still grieving old seasons. You asked me for breakthrough, while secretly doubting whether you deserved one. So I kept working within you quietly, healing, strengthening, preparing, even while you thought nothing was happening. My precious child, seeds buried beneath the soil often look invisible before they bloom. And for a long time, your life felt buried, hidden, forgotten. But hidden seasons are not empty seasons. Roots grow in hidden places. Strength forms in hidden places. Transformation begins in hidden places. And the version of you listening right now is not the same person who first entered the waiting season. You survived too much to remain the same. Yes, there were nights you almost surrendered completely. Moments when disappointment weakened your faith. Moments when exhaustion convinced you to stop expecting anything beautiful from life anymore. But still, you kept going, even wounded, even confused, even emotionally drained. And my child, that perseverance mattered more than you realize, because character was being formed inside you. Not shallow strength, deep strength, the kind built only through survival, the kind that cannot be easily destroyed by future storms. This is why certain people could not understand your journey. From the outside, it looked like delay, but spiritually, it was construction. I was rebuilding parts of your identity that pain had damaged. I was removing emotional dependencies. I was teaching your spirit to find peace in my presence instead of unstable circumstances. And yes, sometimes the process felt unbearably slow, because healing rarely happens as quickly as human hearts desire. But look closely now at the evidence surrounding your life. You survived situations you once thought would destroy you completely. You walked through heartbreak and still learned how to love again. You carried grief and still found moments to smile. You faced betrayal and still kept your heart from becoming completely cold. That is not failure, my beloved. That is proof that I sustained you through every hidden battle. You are stronger now, wiser now, more discerning now, more spiritually awake now. And those qualities were not developed in comfort. They were developed in waiting. Stay with me carefully now, because this next revelation explains something your heart struggled to understand for years. The delay protected you from receiving certain blessings too early. You kept asking for open doors while your spirit was still emotionally exhausted. You kept asking for elevation while still surrounded by people who secretly drained your peace. You kept asking for restoration while still carrying deep resentment and regret inside your heart. And because I saw the full picture, I slowed certain things down, not to hurt you, to preserve you, my beloved child. Imagine if everything you prayed for had arrived during your most broken season. You would have entered blessings while emotionally bleeding. You would have trusted people who did not deserve access to your future. You would have carried unresolved pain into places meant for peace. But now, after everything you survived, your spirit sees differently. You value peace differently. You value loyalty differently. You value my presence differently. And because of that transformation, you are finally becoming ready for what comes next. This next part matters deeply. You keep mourning the years that felt lost, but heaven does not call them wasted, because even your suffering produced something sacred inside you. Patience, discernment, humility, compassion, endurance, spiritual awareness, the ability to recognize false peace from true peace, the ability to survive isolation without completely collapsing, the ability to hear my voice more clearly than before. And now, the very pain you once begged me to remove is becoming part of the testimony. that will help heal others someday. Nothing was meaningless, nothing was accidental, even the tears served a purpose. My beloved child, soon you will begin seeing evidence that the waiting season is ending. Not because you finally became perfect, but because the work inside your spirit reached a deeper level of completion. You are no longer the fragile soul who entered this season years ago. You have been refined, strengthened, awakened, prepared, and the breakthrough approaching your life now requires exactly the strength your hardest years created within you. So do not despise the waiting season anymore. Do not call yourself forgotten. Do not interpret delay as abandonment, because one day soon, you will look back at this painful chapter and realize something that will change everything. The waiting season was the very place where I prepared you for the life you prayed for. My beloved child, now that your spirit has begun releasing what once kept you trapped, something new is about to happen around your life. You will start noticing signs, small at first, quiet, almost easy to dismiss, but they will not be random, because I am about to communicate with you in ways your spirit has not experienced in a long time. Call unto me, and I will answer thee, and show thee great and mighty things, which thou knowest not. Jeremiah 33:3. Yes, my child, I heard every prayer, even the ones you whispered while crying, even the ones you could barely finish because exhaustion overwhelmed your spirit, even the silent prayers that never became words at all. I heard all of them, and now, because your spirit is becoming more open again, you will begin recognizing my presence in ways you once overlooked. Stay with me carefully now, because this next part matters deeply. The signs will not always appear through dramatic miracles at first. Sometimes my voice arrives gently, quietly, repeatedly. You may suddenly keep seeing the same message everywhere you turn. The same verse, the same number, the same phrase appearing again and again in unexpected places. You may hear strangers speak words that strangely answer questions you asked me privately. You may wake from dreams carrying unusual clarity you cannot explain. You may feel sudden peace in situations that previously filled you with fear. And my beloved, that peace will be one of the greatest signs of all. Because when I begin restoring a weary soul, I often start by quieting the inner chaos that once controlled it. This next part is important. For a long time, anxiety became so normal to you that peace started feeling unfamiliar. You became accustomed to overthinking every possibility, expecting disappointment, preparing for rejection, waiting for bad news before good news could even arrive. But now, something is shifting within you, and soon you will notice moments where your mind suddenly becomes still for no clear reason. Moments where fear loosens its grip unexpectedly. Moments where your spirit feels calm, even though your circumstances have not fully changed yet. Do not ignore those moments. That calmness is not accidental. That is my presence touching your spirit. My child, many people expect my voice only through loud signs and dramatic events, but often I speak through gentle confirmations repeated quietly over time. A song arriving exactly when you needed comfort. A conversation answering hidden questions in your heart. A sudden feeling telling you not to go somewhere. A deep inner knowing warning you about certain people. A strange pull guiding you toward new opportunities. You once called those things coincidence, but soon you will understand they were never coincidence at all. I was guiding you the entire time. Even during seasons when you believed heaven was silent, this next part matters deeply. The reason signs are beginning to appear now is because your spirit has finally slowed down enough to notice them. Pain once made your mind too noisy. Fear once drowned out discernment. Emotional exhaustion once clouded your ability to recognize my direction. But now, because healing has begun, your spirit is becoming sensitive again. You will begin sensing when environments are wrong for you. You will feel discomfort around people whose energy drains your peace. You will notice unusual peace around certain decisions. You will feel drawn toward places, messages, and moments carrying my confirmation. And slowly, your confidence in my guidance will begin returning again. My beloved child, one of the signs you are entering a new season is this: things that once satisfied you no longer do. You cannot comfortably remain in old versions of yourself anymore. Old distractions feel empty. Certain conversations feel draining. Temporary pleasures no longer quiet the deeper ache inside your spirit. That change is not punishment, it is awakening. Your soul is becoming hungry for deeper peace now. Real peace, the kind only my presence can sustain. Stay close now, because this next revelation explains something unusual you may already be experiencing. Have you noticed strange repetitions lately? Repeated dreams, repeated thoughts, repeated confirmations. The same themes appearing over and over again. The same message finding you through different people and situations. That is not your imagination, my beloved. When I need to guide a soul through transition, I often confirm direction repeatedly until clarity begins growing stronger than fear, because I know your heart still struggles with doubt sometimes. Part of you still fears trusting hope completely again. So I send reminders gently, repeatedly, patiently, to reassure your spirit that you are not walking blindly anymore. And soon, you will notice those confirmations increasing. You will begin recognizing patterns you once ignored. Doors will begin opening unexpectedly. Certain opportunities will suddenly align naturally. Conversations will happen at exactly the right moment. People carrying wisdom will appear when needed most. And the confusion surrounding your next steps will slowly begin dissolving. But listen carefully now. Not every sign will arrive externally. Some of the strongest confirmations will happen within you. A sudden release of heaviness, an unexpected return of hope, the desire to pray again, the courage to let go of toxic attachments, the strength to stop chasing what keeps hurting you, the ability to sleep peacefully after months of anxiety. Those inner shifts are signs, too, because transformation always begins within before it becomes visible outside. My precious child, you have spent so long searching for proof that things would change. And because disappointment wounded you deeply, you became afraid of expecting too much again. But I am restoring expectation inside you slowly now. Not false hope, not emotional fantasy, real spiritual reassurance. You are not forgotten, you are not abandoned, and your prayers are not floating unanswered in emptiness. Movement has already begun around your life, even now. Behind scenes you cannot yet fully see. This next part matters deeply. Some of the signs coming into your life will confuse other people around you, because not everyone will understand the spiritual transformation happening within you. Some people may notice your energy changing, your priorities changing, your peace increasing, your discernment sharpening, and they will not understand why. But my child, do not fear that shift. Because when a soul begins healing, separation naturally happens between old environments and new purpose. You are being guided differently now, and soon you will feel it clearly. You will start recognizing when to move forward, when to stay still, when to trust, when to walk away, when to remain silent, when to speak. The confusion that once dominated your thoughts will not control you forever. Clarity is coming, little by little, sign by sign, confirmation by confirmation. And one day soon, you will look back at this season and realize something astonishing. I was speaking to you the entire time. Through dreams, through peace, through repeated messages, through unexpected protection, through closed doors, through strange timing, through the quiet voice within your spirit urging you not to give up. If this message is touching something deep inside your soul right now, type "I am listening" in the comments, because your spirit is beginning to awaken to my guidance again. And my beloved child, this is only the beginning. Soon, the signs will become impossible to ignore. Soon, the path ahead will feel clearer. Soon, your heart will understand why everything had to unfold exactly the way it did. But stay close to me now, because the next part will reveal the painful moment that almost broke you completely, and why it secretly became the turning point that changed everything. My beloved child, there is something painful you still carry quietly within your spirit. A memory, a season, a moment when everything inside you almost collapsed completely. You rarely speak about it. Most people around you never fully understood how deeply it affected you. But I remember it clearly. I remember the exact moment your heart became overwhelmed. The exact night your strength finally gave out. The exact season when you smiled outwardly, while inwardly feeling like you could not survive much more. And my child, I need you to hear this carefully now. I was there through all of it. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. Psalm 34:18. Yeah. I saw the nights you cried alone. I saw the tears you hid from everyone else. I saw you lying awake, exhausted, staring into darkness, wondering how so much pain could exist inside one heart at the same time. You tried to stay strong. You tried to remain hopeful. You tried to convince yourself things would eventually improve. But secretly, there came a moment when something inside you almost broke completely. Stay with me now, because this next part matters deeply. You thought that breaking point meant failure. You thought it proved you were weak. You thought it meant your faith had disappeared. But my beloved child, that moment was not the end of you. It was the turning point. For a long time, you were surviving through emotional numbness. You carried pain silently. You endured disappointment silently. You accepted emotional exhaustion as normal. But eventually, your soul reached a place where it could no longer keep pretending everything was okay. And when that collapse finally came, it frightened you. Because suddenly the emotions you buried for years surfaced all at once. Grief, loneliness, fear, disappointment, regret, exhaustion. It all rose to the surface together, and you felt like drowning beneath the weight of it. My beloved, I know there were moments you wanted to disappear from everything. Moments when life felt unbearably heavy. Moments when even simple tasks became exhausting because your spirit felt empty. You wondered whether anyone truly saw your pain, whether anyone noticed how much you were struggling internally. But I noticed. I always noticed. Even when you sat silently in rooms full of people feeling emotionally invisible, I was there. Even when you stopped explaining your pain because nobody seemed to understand, I was there. Even when your prayers became nothing more than exhausted tears, I remained close beside you. This next part is important. That emotional collapse happened because your soul could no longer survive carrying everything alone. You spent years being strong for everyone else, years suppressing your own needs, years enduring situations that slowly wounded your spirit. And eventually, your inner world cried out for help in a way you could no longer ignore. But the enemy used that painful season to whisper dangerous lies into your mind. It told you, you're broken now, you'll never recover. You've lost yourself. Nothing good can come after this. And for a while, part of you believed those lies. Because pain distorts vision. When hearts become deeply wounded, hope becomes difficult to recognize. But my child, listen carefully now. The very moment you thought you were falling apart completely, I was beginning the deepest healing of your life. Yes, the breaking point became the turning point, because sometimes I must allow a soul to become honest about its pain before true restoration can begin. You had spent too long pretending to be okay, too long carrying silent battles without letting anyone see the damage. Too long trying to maintain strength while your spirit quietly bled beneath the surface. But brokenness has a way of exposing what pride tries to hide. And in that painful season, your heart finally became open enough for healing to enter. Stay with me carefully now, because what you interpreted as collapse was often release. The tears were release. The exhaustion was release. The emotional unraveling was release. Years of suppressed pain were finally surfacing so they could leave your spirit completely. And although the process felt terrifying, it was necessary, because buried pain cannot heal while hidden in darkness. My beloved child, I know how ashamed you felt during that season. Ashamed that your emotions became overwhelming. Ashamed that your strength disappeared. Ashamed that fear and sadness consumed your thoughts so deeply. But I was never ashamed of you, never. I did not look at your tears with disappointment. I looked at them with compassion, because I understood what your spirit had been carrying silently for years. And I knew that the soul crying out in weakness was actually moving closer to freedom. This next part matters deeply. You keep thinking the strongest version of yourself was the person who never cried, never struggled, never broke emotionally. But true strength is not emotional suppression. True strength is surviving the collapse and still choosing to keep going afterward. And my beloved, you did survive it. Even when you thought you wouldn't, you survived nights that felt unbearable. You survived heartbreak that changed you permanently. You survived emotional valleys that nearly consumed your hope completely. And somehow, despite all of it, you are still here, still listening, still searching for peace, still reaching toward my voice even after everything tried, convincing you to surrender completely. That is not weakness. That is resilience being formed through suffering. My precious child, there is a reason your spirit feels different now compared to who you were before the collapse. Pain humbled you. Pain awakened discernment within you. Pain taught you how deeply you truly needed my presence. Before that season, you relied heavily on your own strength, your own plans, your own emotional endurance. But brokenness revealed human strength has limits. And in the middle of your weakness, you began learning how to lean on me differently. That is why the enemy feared your survival, because it understood something important. If you made it through that dark valley without completely losing your soul, you would emerge stronger than before, wiser than before, more spiritually awake than before. And now look at you, my beloved. You are not who you used to be. The pain changed you, but it did not destroy you. Instead, it prepared you. Prepared you to recognize false peace. Prepared you to stop settling for relationships that drain your spirit. Prepared you to value emotional healing more deeply than temporary comfort. Prepared you to hear my voice more clearly than ever before. And soon, you will fully understand why the valley had to happen. Because the person emerging from it carries strength the old version of you never possessed. If this message is touching your spirit right now, type, "God brought me through" in the comments. Because your survival was never accidental. You were carried through darkness by hands you could not always see. And my beloved child, this is not where your story ends. The emotional valley that almost broke you completely is becoming the very place where your transformation began. But stay close now, because the next part will reveal why the enemy tried hardest to make you quit right before your breakthrough season finally arrived. My beloved child, listen to me carefully now, because this part explains why the battle became so intense right before things started changing in your life. There was a moment not long ago when the pressure became almost unbearable. The exhaustion, the confusion, the emotional heaviness, the constant disappointments, it all reached a level where part of you genuinely wanted to stop trying. You became tired of hoping, tired of waiting, tired of fighting battles nobody else could see. And secretly, you wondered if giving up would hurt less than continuing forward. But my child, this next revelation matters deeply. The enemy wanted you to quit because your breakthrough season was closer than ever before. Let us not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. Galatians 6:9. Yes, There was a reason the attacks intensified suddenly. There was a reason discouragement became louder. There was a reason fear started whispering to you constantly. Because something in the unseen realm recognized what you could not yet fully see. Your season was beginning to shift, and the enemy always fights hardest when it realizes it is losing access to a soul. Stay with me carefully now, because what I am about to reveal will explain many things you blamed yourself for. You thought you were weak because you felt like quitting, but exhaustion after prolonged warfare is not weakness, it is survival fatigue. You have been carrying invisible battles for so long that your spirit reached a place where it desperately wanted relief, and the enemy used that exhaustion against you. It whispered thoughts like, "Nothing is changing. You've waited too long already. You're only disappointing yourself. Things will never get better. You should stop hoping before you get hurt again." My beloved, those thoughts were never sent to guide you. They were sent to stop you right before your breakthrough arrived. This next part matters deeply. The enemy understood something you did not yet understand. If you survived this season, your life would never be the same again, because the version of you emerging from this battle carries wisdom, discernment, and spiritual strength that darkness can no longer easily manipulate. That is why discouragement increased. That is why emotional attacks intensified. That is why hopelessness suddenly became so overwhelming. The enemy was not reacting to who you used to be. It was reacting to who you were becoming. Do you understand now, my child? The pressure increased because breakthrough was approaching. For a long time, you believed breakthrough would feel peaceful immediately. But often the final stage before transformation feels like chaos. The final stage before freedom often feels like exhaustion. The final stage before clarity often feels confusing, because darkness senses when its hold over a soul is weakening, and it fights desperately to regain control before the chains fully break apart. That is why the urge to quit became strongest near the end of the battle, not the beginning. The enemy did not panic when you were spiritually asleep. It panicked when healing began waking you up. It panicked when your spirit started recognizing your value again. It panicked when you began releasing bitterness and emotional bondage. It panicked when your connection with me deepened through suffering instead of disappearing. So the attacks intensified, and for a moment, you almost surrendered. Yes, my beloved, I saw those moments clearly. The moments you sat silently wondering whether you had enough strength left to continue. The moments you emotionally withdrew from everything because the pressure became overwhelming. The moments you cried privately because you were tired of pretending to be strong. I saw all of it, and still, I never left your side, even when you questioned me, even when disappointment clouded your faith, even when you became too exhausted to pray properly. I remained beside you, because your breakthrough was already being prepared behind the scenes. Stay close now, because something unexpected is about to happen. The very battle meant to destroy your confidence is becoming the thing that proves your strength. Yes, the enemy thought exhaustion would stop you, but instead, it pushed you closer to me. The enemy thought loneliness would destroy your hope, but instead, it awakened your spirit. The enemy thought heartbreak would permanently harden your soul, but instead, it deepened your discernment. The enemy thought delay would make you surrender, but instead, it taught you endurance. And now, the very pain meant to finish you is becoming part of the foundation beneath the new season approaching your life. My beloved child, this is why you cannot quit now. You are too close to clarity, too close to healing, too close to restoration, too close to becoming the person you prayed to become during your darkest nights. The enemy knows your strength better than you do sometimes. That is why it fought you so aggressively, because it could see the spiritual growth happening inside you before you recognized it yourself. It saw your spirit surviving storms that once would have destroyed you. It saw your dependence on my presence growing deeper. It saw emotional chains beginning to break, and it understood something dangerous was happening. You were becoming harder to control through fear. This next part matters deeply. Fear was once the language your mind understood most easily. Fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of abandonment, fear of disappointment. Fear controlled many of your decisions for years. But now, something has started changing. You still feel fear sometimes, but it no longer completely owns you. You continue moving forward despite fear now. You continue searching for healing despite pain now. You continue listening for my voice despite confusion now. And that terrifies the enemy, because a soul that keeps moving forward while wounded becomes extremely difficult to stop. My precious child, you must understand this clearly now. The fact that you are still here after everything you survived is already proof that darkness failed to destroy you. You survived emotional collapse. You survived betrayal. You survived seasons of deep loneliness. You survived battles nobody else even knew you were fighting internally. And now you are standing at the edge of a new season, carrying strength forged through survival itself. That strength cannot be easily shaken anymore. This next part is important. There were moments when the enemy convinced you that nothing good could still happen for your life. But my beloved, heaven never stopped moving on your behalf. While you cried, I was preparing restoration. While you waited, I was aligning doors. While you fought hopelessness, I was strengthening your spirit quietly beneath the surface. And soon, you will begin seeing evidence that your waiting season is truly ending. Not through fantasy, not through empty promises, through real change, unexpected change, doors opening unexpectedly, peace returning unexpectedly, opportunities appearing unexpectedly, strength returning unexpectedly, joy finding your spirit unexpectedly, because breakthrough often arrives quietly at first, before suddenly changing everything. If this message is speaking directly into your soul right now, type "I will not quit" in the comments, because your survival matters more than you realize. And my beloved child, hold on to this truth carefully now. The urge to give up was strongest precisely because breakthrough was closest. You were not abandoned during the battle. You were being prepared inside it. But stay close to me now, because the next part will reveal the unexpected door that is about to open in your life, the one you never saw coming, but that I have been preparing for you all along. My beloved child, after everything you have survived, there is something important I need you to understand now. Your breakthrough is not going to arrive the way you expected. For a long time, you imagined restoration would come through the same doors you kept praying over. You thought the people who hurt you would suddenly change. You thought old opportunities would return. You thought the answer would come from places you already recognized. But my child, I am about to surprise you, because the door that opens next in your life will come from a direction you never expected. I have set before thee an open door, and no man can shut it. Revelation 3:8, yes, an open door. Not forced open by your striving, not manipulated by fear, not created through desperation, a door prepared by my hand. And when it opens, no person, no delay, and no opposition will be able to stop what I have decided to release into your life. Stay with me carefully now, because this next part matters deeply. You have spent so much time mourning closed doors that you almost missed the fact that I was preparing a better one quietly in the background. You cried over relationships that ended. You grieved opportunities that disappeared. You questioned yourself after disappointments you did not understand. But my beloved child, what closed was never your final destination. Some doors had to shut because they could no longer carry the future I prepared for you. And now, because you survived the waiting season, something unexpected is beginning to align. You may not fully see it yet, but behind the scenes, movement has already started. A conversation, a connection, an opportunity, a sudden shift, a new direction forming quietly around your life even now. And the reason it feels unexpected is because your blessing is not arriving through the path you spent years trying to force open. I am creating a new path entirely. This next part is important. The enemy convinced you that closed doors meant rejection. But many closed doors were actually redirection. You thought you lost something valuable. But often, I was removing what would have delayed your destiny even longer. My beloved child, imagine if every prayer had been answered exactly the way you originally wanted. You would still be connected to people who secretly drained your spirit. You would still be emotionally trapped inside environments too small for your growth. You would still be chasing things that could never truly heal your soul. That is why certain plans collapsed. That is why certain opportunities disappeared unexpectedly. Because I needed to separate you from what looked familiar so I could lead you toward what was truly meant for you. And now the season is changing. Yes, changing. You will begin noticing doors opening naturally instead of forcefully. Things that once felt impossible will suddenly begin aligning. People will appear carrying answers you prayed for privately. Unexpected favor will begin surrounding situations that once felt blocked completely. And my child, part of you will almost struggle to believe it at first. Because after surviving so much disappointment, hope feels unfamiliar again. But listen carefully now. This open door is not luck. It is alignment. It is the result of everything your spirit survived. The waiting season prepared you for this moment. The pain prepared you for this moment. The healing prepared you for this moment. And soon you will understand why certain things had to happen exactly the way they did. Stay close now, because something unexpected is about to happen. The breakthrough arriving in your life will not only restore what was wounded, it will reveal strengths inside you that you never recognized before. You thought the waiting season only took things away from you, but it also built something within you: discernment, wisdom, patience, spiritual sensitivity, inner strength. And now those qualities are about to guide you into places the old version of you could never have handled properly. This next part matters deeply. Do not overlook small beginnings. Sometimes the greatest doors begin with tiny confirmations. A message, a meeting, a sudden idea, a new opportunity appearing quietly, a strange feeling telling you to move in a certain direction. Do not dismiss these things, my beloved, because I often begin shifting lives through moments people almost ignore. The open door will not always announce itself loudly at first. It may begin softly, but the peace attached to it will feel different. For the first time in a long while, you will sense movement without confusion, hope without desperation, direction without chaos, and your spirit will recognize that difference immediately. My precious child, you have spent years fighting for things that continuously exhausted you. But what comes from me carries peace with it. Not perfect circumstances immediately, but deep inner confirmation. That is how you will know the door is from me. You will not have to destroy yourself emotionally trying to hold it together. You will not have to beg endlessly for access. You will not have to abandon your healing to keep it alive. What I open will align with the restoration already happening within your spirit. And suddenly, things that once felt delayed will begin moving faster than expected. This next part is important. Some people around you will not understand the shift happening in your life because they became familiar with the exhausted version of you, the wounded version, the discouraged version. But now they will begin seeing confidence slowly returning to your spirit, peace returning to your mind, strength returning to your voice. And they will not fully understand how deeply your inner world has changed. That is because breakthrough always begins internally before it becomes visible externally. My beloved child, the reason this open door feels so surprising is because you stopped expecting life to become beautiful again. Part of you quietly settled into survival mode. You prepared yourself emotionally for more disappointment instead of restoration. But I never intended survival to be your permanent condition. I was always leading you toward renewal. And now the first signs of that renewal are beginning to appear. Before we continue, subscribe and stay connected to these messages. Someone else is praying for the exact words you are hearing right now. Yes, my child. There are others carrying silent battles just like you once did. Others sitting in emotional exhaustion, wondering whether breakthrough still exists for them. And your survival will eventually become proof that healing is possible even after deep suffering. But stay close now, because there is still something you do not fully see yet. The open door coming into your life is connected to purpose far greater than temporary comfort. This is not only about blessing, it is about transformation. The old version of you would have used open doors merely to escape pain, but the healed version of you will walk through them carrying wisdom, compassion, discernment, and deeper dependence on me than ever before. That is why the waiting season mattered. And soon, very soon, you will stop asking why certain doors closed behind you, because the door opening ahead of you will make the old ones seem too small for who you were becoming all along. My beloved child, prepare your spirit carefully now, because what comes next will reveal why your life was never ordinary in the first place, and why you were chosen differently long before you understood it yourself. My beloved child, there is something about your life that has always been different, even before you had words to explain it. You felt it growing up. You felt it in rooms where nobody truly understood you. You felt it during seasons when you looked around and wondered why your heart carried burdens other people seemed untouched by. You felt it in the loneliness, in the deep thinking, in the quiet feeling that your life carried a purpose you could sense, but could not yet fully understand. And my child, that feeling was real, because you were never ordinary. Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee, Jeremiah 1:5. Yes, before anyone spoke your name, before anyone misunderstood your heart, before pain touched your life, I already knew you. I knew every battle you would face, every tear you would cry, every betrayal you would survive, every season where you would feel isolated and emotionally different from those around you. And still, I chose you. Stay with me carefully now, because this next part matters deeply. For a long time, you interpreted your isolation as rejection. You thought something was wrong with you because you never fully fit into certain environments. You wondered why people often misunderstood your heart, why your spirit felt restless in places where others seemed comfortable, why you constantly felt emotionally separated even while surrounded by people. But my beloved child, you were not isolated because you lacked value. You were being separated for purpose. Yes, purpose. There are souls I prepare differently because of what they are called to carry later in life. And often, that preparation includes seasons of loneliness others cannot understand. Because isolation has a way of stripping away false identity. It reveals what truly lives inside a soul once distractions disappear. And in your hidden seasons, I was shaping something deeper within you. Discernment, sensitivity, wisdom, spiritual awareness, compassion born through suffering, strength formed through survival. You thought loneliness was punishment, but often it was preparation. This next part is important. Not everyone is meant to walk the same path. Some people are called to comfortable lives, but others are called to transformation. And transformation usually begins in hidden places. That is why your journey felt heavier than many around you. You were being prepared for more than temporary comfort. You were being prepared to carry healing, wisdom, and spiritual depth that can only be formed through struggle. My beloved child, think about how many times life forced you inward. Times when relationships failed, times when plans collapsed, times when you had nobody to rely on except me. At the time, you thought those moments meant abandonment. But now you are beginning to understand something deeper. Those hidden seasons forced your spirit to develop roots. deep roots, roots strong enough to survive storms that would have destroyed the old version of you. And because of those roots, you are becoming someone far stronger than you realize. Stay close now, because this next revelation explains why your spirit often felt different from those around you. You were never meant to fully belong to environments that weakened your soul. That discomfort you carried in certain places, that strange feeling that something inside you did not fully connect, was often my spirit warning you that your future could not grow there. You kept trying to force belonging where your spirit was already outgrowing the environment. And every time you ignored that inner discomfort, your soul became more exhausted. But now your eyes are opening. Now you are beginning to recognize the difference between true connection and emotional attachment, between peace and familiarity, between purpose and distraction. My beloved child, you spent years asking why your path looked harder than other people's, why your lessons seemed deeper, why your heart carried such intense emotional battles. But listen carefully now. The depth of your pain was connected to the depth of your calling, because souls chosen for deeper purpose often experience deeper refinement. I needed your spirit to become sensitive enough to recognize my voice clearly. I needed your heart to develop compassion beyond surface-level understanding. I needed your discernment to become strong enough to recognize false peace before it destroyed your future. And yes, the process hurt. But look at who you are becoming because of it. You now notice energies others ignore. You sense dishonesty faster than before. You recognize emotional manipulation more clearly now. You value peace more deeply than popularity. You crave truth more than approval. And my beloved, those are signs that your spirit is awakening into the person I always intended you to become. This next part matters deeply. The enemy spent years trying to convince you that being different meant being unworthy, that your sensitivity was weakness, that your emotional depth was a burden, that your loneliness proved nobody would ever truly understand you. But the truth is this: you were never meant to live like everyone else. You were created to carry something distinct, something sacred, something formed through pain, survival, and deep spiritual awakening. That is why you could never fully return to shallow living after everything you survived. Your spirit changed permanently. You cannot unknow what suffering taught you. You cannot return to emotional blindness after healing opened your eyes. You cannot comfortably remain small after your soul survived battles meant to destroy it. My beloved child, you are changing, and part of you still fears that change because growth often feels lonely before it becomes purposeful. But do not fear becoming different. Do not fear outgrowing old environments. Do not fear the separation happening around your life, because what I am building within you requires space to grow. And soon, the same isolation that once hurt you will begin making sense. You will realize certain people could not walk beside you because they were attached to versions of you that no longer exist. You will realize certain seasons had to end because your spirit was evolving beyond them. You will realize the loneliness was never empty. I was with you inside every hidden moment, every silent prayer, every painful night, every season where you felt unseen by the world. I was there, closer than you realized. This next part is important. The enemy wanted your isolation to produce hopelessness, but instead, it produced depth. It produced spiritual sensitivity. It produced resilience. It produced dependence on me instead of unstable people. And now the same soul that once felt abandoned is beginning to recognize something astonishing. You were protected even in your loneliness, protected from becoming trapped in places too small for your future, protected from relationships that would have buried your purpose, protected from paths that looked comfortable but would have slowly destroyed your peace. My beloved child, your life was never random. Your survival was never random. Your journey was never random. Even the pain had direction attached to it. And soon, you will begin seeing how every hidden season was preparing you for something much greater than you imagined possible. If this message is speaking directly into your spirit right now, type "I am chosen" in the comments. Because the isolation you survived was not proof you were forgotten. It was evidence that I was preparing you differently. And my beloved child, this is only the beginning, because the next part will reveal why the cycles that followed your family for generations are stopping with you, and why your healing is connected to something far bigger than your own life alone. My beloved child, there is something far greater happening in your life than you fully realize right now. Your battles were never only about you. Your healing was never only about you. Your survival carries meaning far beyond your own pain, because what is happening within your spirit is reaching across generations. If anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. The old has passed away. Behold, the new has come. 2 Corinthians 5:17. Yes, my child, something old is ending with you, and something new is beginning through you. For a long time, you wondered why your path felt unusually heavy, why certain struggles seemed to follow your family repeatedly, why pain, fear, emotional instability, broken relationships, or cycles of suffering appeared generation after generation. And secretly, part of you feared nothing would ever truly change. You worried history would simply repeat itself again. But my beloved, listen carefully now. You were chosen to interrupt the cycle. Stay with me carefully, because this next part matters deeply. You are not imagining the weight you carried growing up. Some burdens were older than you. Some fears were passed down silently through wounded generations. Patterns of anxiety, patterns of emotional neglect, patterns of broken trust, patterns of survival instead of peace, patterns of silence, fear, anger, abandonment, insecurity, or hopelessness. And without realizing it, you inherited emotional wounds you did not personally create. You learned fear before you learned peace. You learned survival before you learned rest. You learned how to suppress pain before you learned how to heal properly. But my beloved child, the cycle stops here. Yes, with you. The enemy wanted you to become another continuation of the pain that came before you. Another wounded soul carrying unresolved suffering into the next generation. But instead, you awakened. You began questioning the patterns. You began seeking healing. You began refusing to stay emotionally asleep. And that decision changed everything. This next part is important. Do you know why your battles felt so intense sometimes? Because transformation threatens cycles that darkness spent generations building. The enemy was never afraid of repeated pain. It was afraid of someone finally becoming aware enough to break free from it. And my beloved child, you became that person. The one who stopped ignoring the wounds. The one who started seeking truth instead of pretending everything was fine. The one who carried enough courage to confront pain instead of simply passing it forward. That is why your healing matters so deeply. Because every time you choose peace over bitterness, every time you choose healing over denial, every time you choose forgiveness over hatred, the chain weakens. And now the chain is breaking. Stay close now, because this revelation explains many things about your life. You often felt different inside your own family, different emotionally, different spiritually, different in the way you viewed life and relationships. And sometimes that difference made you feel isolated, misunderstood, even guilty. But my child, that difference was not rejection. It was awakening. You could see what others ignored. You could feel what others suppressed. You carried sensitivity others did not understand. And because of that awareness, your spirit could no longer comfortably continue harmful patterns that once felt normal around you. The cycle began ending the moment you became conscious of it. This next part matters deeply. Breaking generational cycles is painful work, because healing often forces you to confront things previous generations avoided. You had to face emotional wounds, honestly. You had to acknowledge hidden pain. You had to unlearn unhealthy patterns that surrounded you for years. And sometimes that process made you feel lonely, because not everyone understands transformation while it is happening. Some people become uncomfortable when healing enters a family line, because healed people stop normalizing dysfunction. Healed people stop accepting emotional chaos as love. Healed people stop repeating destructive patterns simply because that's how things have always been. And my beloved, you are becoming healed. That is why your spirit cannot comfortably return to old ways anymore. The old version of you tolerated too much, ignored too much, accepted too much emotional damage, but now your eyes are open. Now your soul recognizes what peace truly feels like. And because of that awakening, future generations connected to your life will experience blessings you once prayed for but never received yourself. Yes, your healing is creating freedom beyond your own life. This next part is important. The enemy wanted your pain to become inheritance. It wanted your wounds to continue spreading forward. It wanted your heartbreak to shape future relationships. It wanted your fear to become normal for those who came after you. But you interrupted the pattern. You chose healing, you chose awareness, you chose growth. And because of that decision, the future is already shifting. My beloved child, you may not fully see it yet, but your survival carries legacy attached to it. The peace you fight for now will become protection for others later. The wisdom your suffering created will guide others later. The healing you are walking through now will become testimony later. Nothing about your journey is meaningless, nothing. Even the pain now carries purpose beyond what your eyes can currently see. Stay with me carefully now, because this next revelation explains why you often felt pressure to give up. The enemy knew that if you healed fully, if you truly awakened spiritually, if you finally understood your value, then generations after you would no longer remain trapped in the same emotional darkness. That terrified the enemy, because healed people change entire bloodlines. One healed soul can alter the emotional future of countless lives. One awakened spirit can stop years of hidden suffering from continuing forward. And my beloved child, you were chosen for exactly that kind of transformation. Not perfection, transformation. There is a difference. You are not called to become flawless. You are called to become free. Free from emotional bondage, free from inherited fear, free from cycles of self-destruction, free from believing pain is your permanent identity. And now, freedom is beginning to grow inside you. Slowly, deeply, permanently. This next part matters deeply. You often judged yourself harshly because your healing process felt slow. But generational healing takes courage. It requires confronting pain many others spent lifetimes avoiding. And despite the exhaustion, despite the confusion, despite the moments you almost surrendered, you kept moving forward. That matters more than you realize, because your willingness to heal is already changing the future around you. My beloved child, one day you will fully understand why your life carried such unusual battles. It was never because you were cursed. It was because you were called to become a turning point, a line breaker, a cycle breaker, the beginning of something new. And heaven has been protecting that purpose even during the seasons when you felt weakest. If this message is speaking directly into your spirit right now, type "The cycle ends with me" in the comments. Because your healing is no longer only about surviving pain. It is about creating freedom, legacy, restoration. And my beloved child, this is only the beginning, because the next part will reveal the hidden transformation already happening deep within your spirit. The miracle that started inside you long before it becomes visible to everyone around you. My beloved child, there is something happening inside you right now that other people cannot fully see yet. And perhaps even you do not completely recognize it yourself. Because the greatest miracle unfolding in your life at this moment is not external. It is internal. Something deep within your spirit has already begun changing, quietly, slowly, but permanently. I will give you a new heart and put a new spirit within you. Ezekiel 36:26. Yes, my child, a new heart, not a perfect heart, a transformed one. A heart no longer chained to the same fears that once controlled you. A spirit no longer fully trapped beneath old pain. A soul slowly awakening into the person I always intended you to become. Stay with me carefully now, because this next part matters deeply. For a long time, you searched desperately for outward change. You prayed for circumstances to improve. You prayed for doors to open. You prayed for people to change. You prayed for visible miracles. And while you waited, you almost missed the miracle already happening within you. Because even before your environment changed, your spirit began changing first. Do you remember how hopeless you once felt? How fear once completely controlled your thoughts? How emotional pain once consumed your entire identity? Look closely now, my beloved. You are not the same person anymore. Yes, you still carry scars. Yes, some days remain difficult. Yes, healing is still unfolding, but something fundamental inside you has shifted. The things that once destroyed you emotionally no longer hold the same power over your spirit. That is transformation. The fears that once paralyzed you now weaken more quickly than before. That is transformation. The relationships you once begged to keep no longer feel worth losing your peace over. That is transformation. The constant need for approval has begun fading. The emotional chaos you once tolerated now exhausts your spirit instead of attracting it. The old version of you would have continued chasing what wounded you, but the new version of you is beginning to choose peace instead. And my beloved child, that is the hidden miracle. This next part is important. Transformation rarely announces itself loudly at first. It happens quietly, like dawn slowly replacing darkness, like healing slowly returning feeling to wounded places. Little by little, your spirit begins responding differently to life. Situations that once shattered you now strengthen your discernment. People who once manipulated your emotions no longer control your identity. Pain that once consumed your thoughts now pushes you closer to wisdom. And although the process feels slow sometimes, the change happening within you is real. Stay close now, because something beautiful is unfolding beneath the surface of your life. You thought your breakdown was destroying you, but much of what collapsed needed to collapse. False identity needed to collapse. People-pleasing needed to collapse. Emotional dependency needed to collapse. The illusion that you could survive disconnected from true peace needed to collapse. And when those things began falling apart, it frightened you. Because endings often feel painful before new beginnings become visible. But my beloved, the old version of you could not carry the future I prepared for you. That version survived through fear, through emotional exhaustion, through constant self-protection. But now I am rebuilding you differently, not around fear, around peace, not around survival, around purpose, not around wounds, around healing. This next part matters deeply. The enemy wanted your suffering to harden your heart permanently. It wanted you to become cold, bitter, emotionally numb, unable to trust again, unable to hope again. But instead, something unexpected happened. Your pain awakened compassion inside you. Your loneliness deepened your empathy. Your battles increased your discernment. And your suffering taught you how deeply human souls need healing. That is why your spirit feels different now. You carry depth you did not possess before. You notice emotional truth more quickly now. You recognize false energy more clearly now. You value peace more deeply now. And although those changes were born through painful seasons, they are becoming part of the wisdom guiding your future. My beloved child, do not become discouraged because your transformation feels incomplete. Healing is unfolding even in moments when you cannot visibly measure it. Sometimes the deepest changes happen silently, in the way you think, in the way you respond, in the way your spirit seeks peace instead of chaos now, in the way your soul longs for truth more than temporary comfort. Those quiet changes matter more than you realize, because outward breakthrough without inward transformation would only create temporary relief. But inward transformation changes everything permanently. This next part is important. Many people around you still see the old version of you because they remember who you used to be. They remember your fear, your wounds, your emotional struggles, but they cannot fully see the rebuilding happening inside your spirit now. Only I can see the full transformation unfolding beneath the surface. And my beloved, I am proud of the progress you cannot yet fully recognize yourself. Yes, proud, because you kept healing even while exhausted. You kept seeking truth even while confused. You kept listening for my voice even while fighting hopelessness internally. That matters deeply, more deeply than you understand right now. Stay close now, because this next revelation explains why your spirit has recently felt both peaceful and uncomfortable at the same time. Part of you is awakening into something new, while another part is grieving who you used to be. Transformation always carries tension. The old self resists release. Old fears resist surrender. Old patterns resist change. And sometimes healing feels uncomfortable because your spirit is outgrowing identities it carried for years. But do not fear that discomfort, my beloved. It is evidence that movement is happening. A soul that remains unchanged feels no tension. But a soul being transformed feels stretching internally. That stretching is happening within you now, and slowly, the person you once were is fading. Not your personality, not your humanity, the false version built through pain and survival, the version constantly expecting abandonment, constantly fearing rejection, constantly preparing for disappointment. That version is weakening, and in its place, peace is beginning to grow, quietly, steadily, deeply. My beloved child, there will come a moment soon when you suddenly realize how much you changed. You will respond calmly to situations that once triggered fear. You will walk away from connections that once emotionally controlled you. You will protect your peace without guilt. You will stop begging for love from people incapable of giving it properly. And one day you will look back at the old version of yourself with compassion instead of shame, because you will finally understand you were surviving the best way you knew how at the time. But now, you are learning how to truly live. This next part matters deeply. The miracle happening inside you is preparing the visible breakthrough still ahead, because external blessing without internal healing would never satisfy your soul completely. So first, I transformed your heart. First, I awakened your spirit. First, I taught your soul how to recognize peace again. And now, the outer changes approaching your life will finally align with the inner transformation already unfolding within you. If this message is speaking directly into your spirit right now, type "I am changing" in the comments, because the person listening to these words is already becoming someone stronger, wiser, and more healed than the version who first entered this painful season. And my beloved child, the most beautiful part is this. The miracle already started long before you could fully see it, but stay close to me now, because the next part will reveal the final test that appears before the shift fully arrives. The moment that tries one last time to pull you back into fear before your new season begins completely. My beloved child, do not leave now, because this final part matters most. You have come too far spiritually to stop listening at this moment. Too far through healing, too far through transformation, too far through hidden battles that almost destroyed your peace completely. Because now, you are standing at the edge of the shift. And this is the moment when one final emotional trap often appears. Not to strengthen you, to pull you backward into fear before breakthrough fully arrives. Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life. James 1:12. Yes, my child. There is always a final test before the new season begins completely, and the enemy knows this. That is why the pressure suddenly feels strange again. Have you noticed it? The unexpected return of doubt, the sudden emotional heaviness, the temptation to revisit old pain, the urge to reconnect with things you already healed from. The fear whispering, what if nothing actually changes? What if this hope only leads to disappointment again? What if you are still not ready? My beloved, listen carefully now. That fear is not random. It is the final attempt to drag your spirit back into the old season before the door fully closes behind it. Stay with me carefully, because this next revelation explains why the battle suddenly intensified again after you already started healing. The enemy cannot fully stop the transformation already happening inside you, but it will attempt one last thing: to convince you to return voluntarily to the emotional prison you already escaped. Yes, that is the trap. Not destruction through force, destruction through retreat. The enemy wants you to reopen doors I already helped you close. Return to unhealthy attachments. Return to self-doubt. Return to fear. Return to emotional dependence. Return to the version of yourself that survived through anxiety instead of peace. And because your spirit is standing between old identity and new identity right now, the temptation feels emotionally intense. Part of you feels ready to move forward, but another part fears the unknown waiting ahead. This next part matters deeply. Growth often feels frightening before it feels peaceful, because healing requires leaving familiar pain behind. And strangely enough, familiar pain can feel safer than unfamiliar peace. You spent so many years surviving emotional chaos that stability now feels almost unfamiliar to your nervous system. You became accustomed to overthinking, accustomed to preparing for disappointment, accustomed to expecting abandonment. And now that peace is beginning to grow inside you, part of your old self keeps searching for danger that no longer belongs in your future. That is why this final test feels so emotional. It is not only spiritual warfare, it is the battle between who you used to be and who you are becoming. My beloved child, the old version of you is fighting to survive. The fearful version, the wounded version, the exhausted version that learned how to survive through emotional self-protection. But listen carefully now. You cannot carry that version of yourself into the new season I prepared for you. The fear must break. The old identity must release. The emotional chains must finally loosen completely. And yes, the process feels uncomfortable, because transformation always reaches a moment where surrender becomes necessary. Not partial surrender, complete surrender. Stay close now, because something important is happening beneath the surface of your life. This final emotional battle is revealing where your trust truly lives. Not trust when circumstances feel easy. Trust when uncertainty still exists. Trust when visible evidence has not fully arrived yet. Trust when fear whispers louder than clarity. And my beloved, every time you continue moving forward despite fear, your spirit becomes stronger than the fear itself. That is how freedom grows. Not through the absence of fear, through choosing trust even while fear still tries speaking. This next part matters deeply. The enemy hoped your suffering would permanently convince you that peace was impossible for your life. But now something terrifying is happening from its perspective. You are beginning to believe healing is truly possible again. You are beginning to believe joy can return again. You are beginning to believe your future can become different from your past. And once a wounded soul regains hope, darkness starts losing control rapidly. That is why discouragement intensified again recently. Not because you are losing progress, because breakthrough is getting closer. Do you understand now, my beloved? The pressure returned because the old season is ending. The fear returned because the chains are weakening. The confusion returned because clarity is approaching. This final test is not proof of failure. It is evidence that transition is happening, my precious child. There are moments when transformation requires one final decision. Will you trust fear or trust me? Will you return to emotional bondage because it feels familiar? Or will you continue walking toward healing even while uncertainty remains? Because the next season cannot fully open while part of your spirit still clings to the old one. This next revelation matters deeply. Some people reach the edge of breakthrough and accidentally sabotage themselves because fear convinces them to retreat. They reopen toxic connections, return to destructive patterns, abandon healing halfway through the process. Why? Because the unknown feels uncomfortable. But my beloved child, do not retreat now. You already survived too much to go backward. You already cried too many tears to return to what broke your spirit before. You already fought too hard for peace to surrender it back to fear now. Listen carefully. The old season no longer fits who you are becoming. That chapter is ending. Yes, ending. And although part of you still grieves the familiar pain you carried for years, another part of your spirit is already beginning to breathe differently. Lighter, clearer, freer. That freedom is real. Do not abandon it now. Stay with me carefully, because something unexpected is about to happen after this final test passes. The same fear that once controlled your life will soon lose its voice completely. The same emotional triggers that once consumed your peace will begin weakening. The same wounds that once defined your identity will stop controlling your future. Not because you became perfect, but because your spirit finally surrendered fully to healing. My beloved child, heaven has not brought you this far to leave you trapped now. Everything you survived carried purpose. Every battle shaped you. Every painful season strengthened you. And now the shift is closer than ever before. But you must let go completely. Let go of the fear. Let go of the old identity. Let go of the need to control outcomes through anxiety. Let go of the emotional attachments pulling you backward. Because the future waiting ahead of you requires freedom. Real freedom. Type 1. Trust you, God, if you are ready to leave the old season behind and walk into what God has prepared for you. Yes, my beloved child, this moment matters more than you realize, because heaven is waiting for your agreement. Not agreement with fear, agreement with transformation, agreement with healing, agreement with the new life already beginning within your spirit. And my beloved, once this final surrender happens, everything begins changing faster than you expect. But stay close now, because the next part will reveal the astonishing truth you have not fully understood yet. Your breakthrough has already begun, even before your eyes can fully see it. My beloved child, breathe deeply for a moment and listen carefully now, because what I am about to reveal will change the way you see your entire life. You kept waiting for a dramatic sign, a sudden moment, a visible miracle so undeniable that fear would disappear instantly. You thought breakthrough would arrive like lightning, loud, obvious, immediate. But my beloved, the truth is far more beautiful than you realize. Your breakthrough already started before you even recognized it. Behold, I will do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth, shall ye not know it? Isaiah 43:19. Yes, a new thing, not someday far away. Now, already springing forth quietly beneath the surface of your life. And the reason you struggled to recognize it at first is because you were still searching for external evidence, while the miracle had already begun internally. Stay with me carefully now, because this next part matters deeply. The breakthrough did not begin when circumstances changed. It began the moment your spirit stopped fully agreeing with hopelessness. The breakthrough began when you started questioning the lies fear told you for years. It began when your soul became tired of surviving through pain alone. It began when you chose healing instead of emotional numbness. It began when you stopped chasing people who continuously drained your peace. It began when you started hearing my voice again beneath all the noise. And my beloved child, All of those moments were evidence that transformation had already started. You simply did not recognize it yet. This next part is important. For a long time, you believed breakthrough only meant external blessing. Money changing, relationships changing, circumstances changing. And yes, those things will come in time. But true breakthrough always begins deeper first. It begins when fear loses authority over your spirit. It begins when peace enters places once controlled by anxiety. It begins when your identity no longer depends on rejection, failure, or emotional wounds. And my beloved, that miracle is already happening inside you now. Look closely at your life. You are not reacting the same way anymore. You are not emotionally collapsing as quickly anymore. You are not begging for unhealthy love the same way anymore. You are not tolerating chaos the same way anymore. That change is not accidental. That is breakthrough unfolding quietly. Stay close now, because this next revelation explains why your spirit has recently felt strangely different. Part of you keeps sensing that something is shifting even before visible proof fully arrives. That feeling is real, because breakthrough carries spiritual movement before physical evidence appears. Just like dawn begins before the full sun rises, your new season began before you could fully see it. My beloved child, the enemy wanted you to believe nothing was changing because visible results had not arrived immediately. But heaven measures transformation differently. Heaven sees the healing inside your heart, the growth inside your mind, the awakening inside your spirit. And those things matter more deeply than you realize, because external blessings without internal freedom would only create temporary happiness. But the work I began inside you now carries permanence. This next part matters deeply. You survived the hardest chapter already. Yes, the darkest nights, the emotional collapse, the endless waiting, the loneliness, the confusion, the silent battles nobody else saw. You survived all of it. And because you survived, your spirit became prepared for the very breakthrough now approaching your life. That is why peace feels different now. That is why your discernment feels sharper now. That is why your soul no longer comfortably fits inside old environments anymore. You are changing, and the life around you will soon begin reflecting the transformation already happening within you. My beloved child, there were moments you thought nothing good could still come from your story. But look at what survived. Your heart still carries compassion. Your spirit still longs for healing. Your soul still reaches toward hope despite everything it endured. That alone is evidence of divine restoration already at work within you. Because darkness tried to make you permanently cold, permanently hopeless, permanently disconnected from peace, and yet here you are. Still listening, still healing, still becoming. That is breakthrough. This next part is important. Do not underestimate small shifts. The enemy wants people to ignore quiet miracles because they do not look dramatic enough at first. But my beloved, the quiet miracles matter most. Sleeping peacefully after months of anxiety, walking away from emotional chaos without guilt, choosing peace over fear, recognizing your worth after years of self-doubt, feeling hope return slowly after emotional exhaustion nearly destroyed it. Those are miracles too, and they are already happening inside you. Stay close now, because something beautiful is unfolding around your life, even while you cannot yet fully see the complete picture. Doors are aligning, people are being repositioned, old chains are weakening, new opportunities are quietly moving closer, and soon, visible confirmation will begin matching the transformation already happening within your spirit. This next revelation matters deeply. The breakthrough began the moment you stopped identifying completely with your pain. For years, suffering became your identity. The wounded one, the abandoned one, the exhausted one, the fearful one. But now, something inside you has started remembering who you truly are beyond the pain. Chosen, protected, guided, loved, being restored. And once identity changes internally, life begins shifting externally afterward. My beloved child, do not become discouraged if everything has not fully manifested yet. Seeds do not bloom the same day they are planted, but growth still happens beneath the surface, long before visible evidence appears. That is exactly what has been happening in your life. The roots formed first. Now the visible fruit is coming. And when it arrives, you will finally understand why the waiting season took so long. Because the blessing required preparation. The healing required preparation. The new version of you required preparation. And now, you are ready in ways you once were not. This next part matters deeply. The breakthrough approaching your life is not temporary emotional excitement. It is alignment. Alignment between your healed spirit and the future I prepared for you long ago. That is why fear can no longer fully control you the way it once did. That is why hopelessness no longer feels natural inside your spirit anymore. That is why you feel yourself pulling away from emotional chaos and moving toward peace instead. The new season already started quietly within you, and soon, the outer world will begin catching up to the inner transformation already taking place. My precious child, heaven never abandoned you during the waiting season. Not once, even when you felt forgotten, even when you cried alone, even when confusion overwhelmed your mind. I was still moving, still healing, still protecting, still preparing. And now, after everything you survived, the breakthrough you prayed for is no longer distant. It has already begun. If this message is speaking directly into your spirit right now, type "My breakthrough has started" in the comments. Because your life is already shifting in ways your eyes have not fully recognized yet. And my beloved child, this is not the end of your story, because the final revelation is about to show you something even more powerful. You are no longer the same person who began this journey. My beloved child, if you have stayed with me through this entire journey, then there is one final truth your spirit must hear before this message ends. You are no longer the same person who began this journey. Yes, look carefully at your soul now. Something inside you has changed. Quietly, deeply, permanently. The version of you that first entered this painful season carried fear differently, carried loneliness differently, carried wounds differently. But after everything you survived, after every battle, every delay, every night of silent tears, something within you awakened. And my child, that awakening will never fully disappear again. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. For the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Deuteronomy 31:6. Yes, never leave you, never forsake you, not during the waiting, not during the heartbreak, not during the emotional collapse, not during the moments when your faith became weak and your spirit felt exhausted. I was there through all of it, even when you could not feel me clearly, even when silence frightened you, even when you believed your prayers were disappearing into emptiness. I remained beside you. And now, after everything, you are finally beginning to understand something your pain could not let you see before. You were never abandoned. Stay with me carefully now, because this final revelation matters most. For so long, you kept asking, why did I have to go through all of this? Why the loneliness? Why the delays? Why the heartbreak? Why the hidden battles nobody else understood? But now your spirit is beginning to see the answer. The suffering changed you, not into someone weaker, into someone awakened. My beloved child, you now carry discernment you did not possess before. You recognize emotional danger faster now. You value peace more deeply now. You understand the importance of healing now. You hear my voice more clearly now, and although the road was painful, the transformation it created inside your spirit became priceless, because the old version of you would never have survived the future I prepared for you. That version depended too heavily on external validation, too heavily on unstable people, too heavily on temporary comfort. But now, after the refining process, your spirit has roots, deep roots, strong roots, roots built through survival, surrender, healing, and perseverance. And those roots will carry you through the next season differently. This next part matters deeply. There were moments you believed the darkness would last forever. Moments when emotional exhaustion became so normal that peace felt impossible. Moments when fear whispered louder than hope. But look at you now. You survived. You are still standing, still listening, still seeking healing, still reaching toward light even after everything tried pulling you deeper into darkness. That alone is proof that something sacred has always protected your life. My beloved child, the enemy wanted your story to end in despair. It wanted bitterness to consume your heart. It wanted pain to become your permanent identity. It wanted fear to silence your future. But it failed. Yes, failed. Because despite every battle, your spirit still chose to keep moving toward healing. And that decision changed everything. Stay close now, because there is something beautiful you still do not fully understand yet. The life ahead of you will not look like the life behind you. Read those words carefully. The life ahead of you will not look like the life behind you, because the person walking into this next season is not emotionally asleep anymore, not spiritually blind anymore, not completely controlled by fear anymore. You are awakening into someone stronger than the pain that once defined you. And slowly, the outer world around you will begin reflecting the inner transformation already completed within your spirit. This next part is important. Do not become discouraged if healing still feels unfinished sometimes. Transformation is not a single moment, it is a journey. There may still be difficult days, moments when old fears briefly return, moments when sadness unexpectedly revisits your heart. But those moments no longer own you now, because you finally know something you once forgot. Pain is not your identity. Fear is not your future. Hopelessness is not your permanent home. You belong to peace now. And even when storms return temporarily, your spirit knows where to run now. To me, my beloved child, I know there are still questions you carry, still prayers waiting for answers, still desires hidden inside your heart. But trust me carefully now when I say this. The delay did not destroy your destiny. The suffering did not cancel your purpose. The loneliness did not make you unworthy. Everything you survived became part of the road leading you here, to awakening, to healing, to surrender, to transformation. And now a new chapter is beginning quietly around your life. You may not fully see every detail yet, but your spirit can feel it. The heaviness is lifting. The confusion is weakening. The fear is losing authority. And hope, beautiful hope, is beginning to breathe inside you again. That hope is not weakness. It is evidence of restoration. Stay with me carefully now, because this final truth will carry you into the next season of your life. You do not have to fight for your worth anymore. You do not have to beg for love anymore. You do not have to destroy yourself emotionally trying to earn peace anymore. You are already loved, already chosen, already seen, already guided, already protected. And my beloved child, nothing you survived was able to remove my hand from your life. Not the betrayal, not the fear, not the waiting, not even the moments when you almost gave up completely. I held you through every hidden battle, and I will continue walking beside you through every new season still ahead. This next part matters deeply. One day soon, you will look back at this painful chapter differently, not only with sorrow, but with understanding. You will realize the darkness forced your spirit to awaken. The waiting forced your faith to deepen. The heartbreak forced your discernment to sharpen. The loneliness forced you to hear my voice more clearly. And suddenly, the seasons you once begged to escape will become the very seasons that prepared you for the life now unfolding ahead. My beloved child, your old season is ending. Yes, ending. The exhausted version of you is fading. The fearful version is weakening. The hopeless version no longer controls your identity. And now the healed version of you is slowly stepping forward into the light. Do you feel it? That quiet peace returning? That strange sense that something inside you finally shifted? That is not imagination. That is transformation. That is restoration. That is the beginning of your new season. If this message has touched your spirit, comment Amen below. Share this message with someone who is silently fighting battles they cannot explain. And subscribe if you want to continue walking through these messages together. Because, my beloved child, this is not the end of your story. This is the beginning of the life you were being prepared for all along. And no matter what comes next, remember this forever. You never walked alone.